Hi everybody, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and I have a project to share with you today. We are doing a dig, discover, and display kit. Now these are really great excavation kits that would work well with all kinds of different units, and we have one here that has Indian relics, which is working alongside our Lewis and Clark Expedition unit and Western Movement unit. This kit comes with everything you need in order to excavate your project, as well as paint and sandpaper, some paint brushes, your excavation tools, as well as additional information. Now this material is really easy to work with, but on occasion I have found some material is quite hard. You can use water to soften your plaster, but I found for this particular project we didn't need to use water until the very end when we were cleaning up our project. Now this project is for my 8-year-old daughter and my 13-year-old son. They each did different excavation projects, and my 8-year-old did this one on the Indian relics. Now, because we have done so many different excavation kits in the past, she's using some of the tools that we use from a different excavation kit. Now, I don't recommend this because she's using a piece that has a metal tip, which ended up scratching her project a little bit. So do use the wooden tools that come with the kit. The last thing we did was wash and clean our projects. Now, if you're going to use water, you're going to need to give it ample time to dry before you actually paint. Now, we had done a pretty good job excavating this project, so we didn't really need to use the water. Now, if you found that the project was a little bit more difficult to excavate, you could spray it with some water while you're excavating it in order to loosen the plaster a little bit as you are excavating your project. Once it is thoroughly cleaned, you can let it dry for up to a day or two, air drying it, or you can put it in the oven at the lowest temperature for about 2 hours. Now we put this at about 200 degrees for a half an hour because I didn't want to have it too hot, and then I left it in the warm oven for about 2.5 hours. Once it was completely dry, it was time to paint our project. Now, because I purchased this kit so many years ago, a lot of the paint had dried up, so I added a little bit of water to the acrylic paint, and that seemed to do okay. It also came with a couple of pellets of paint that needed to be rehydrated, and I also dipped into our own acrylic paint supplies for this project as well. We went ahead and we put them all into this little tray because it was going to be a little bit easier to get the paints that way. We also dipped into our own painting supplies so that we could have one paintbrush for each of the colors. Now comes the fun part, and that's painting your excavated project. Now you can refer to the back of the package for how it's supposed to look or the designs that you can do on your project. I also really got into this project with my daughter and I helped her paint, which was a lot of fun. Actually, the whole project was a lot of fun, and I helped both of my children with this project. This was a really fun project for our unit, and I highly recommend the dig, discover, and display projects. Now, some are pretty easy, like the one that I did here with my daughter, and some are a little bit more complicated, but overall, we've been really pleased with these projects. If you want to see some of the other projects we're doing with our Western Movement and Lewis and Clark Expedition, you can tap on the screen right now. Don't forget to check out the blog post that accompanies this video for more information, as well as links to the products that I've used. And don't forget that if you want to see how our homeschool is progressing on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.